Good fans, they want us to look at mole in chemistry. What is mole? 1 mole of a substance is the amount containing as many elementary entities as the number of atoms in exactly 12 grams of carbon-12. So these elementary entities, what do you mean by elementary entities? It means something like the atoms, the molecules, the ions, the electrons, and all other particles are what we refer to as elementary entities. So what does this mean? It means that 1 mole of any element will contains 6.0 times 10 to the power of 23 atoms. And this number of atoms is also known as what? Avogadro's number. So the reason why we are using 12 grams of carbon is because through experiment, scientists found out that 1 mole or 12 grams of carbon contains 12 grams or 1 mole of carbon C contains 6.02 times 10 to the power of 23 atoms through experiment. So that is why when they define number of mole, when they define mole, they use 12 grams, because that was what scientists used during experiment to check. So they now came out with this definition, which means that 1 mole of any substance, example is oxygen. That 1 mole of oxygen, 1 mole of oxygen O2 will give you what? Will give you 6.02 times 10 raised to the power 23 atoms. And this number that I are seeing is also known as what? Avogadro's number. This is Avogadro's number. Avogadro's number. So through this mole now, 1 mole of this same substance, 1 mole of oxygen can give you what? The molar mass of this oxygen. Molar mass. So which is going to be what? The molar mass of this oxygen is going to be what? That is 2 times 16. That will give you what? 32 grams. Also, 1 mole of this substance, this same substance, can also give you what? Let me use carbon. C will give you the molar mass of carbon, which is what? 12 grams. So this is what the definition means. Take for instance, we normally say that 1 dozen of egg, which is true. 1 dozen of egg contains how many eggs? That is what 12 eggs. The same thing is happening here. So it means that 1 mole of any element or any substance contains how many atoms? Contains 6.02 times 10 raised to the power 3 atoms. Let me use this as an example. Look at this as a what? Look at this as a mole. Then what is inside, or what is inside? The contents of this mole is what we mean by the atoms. So it means that 1 mole of this contains how many Maggi? This is the Maggi that you are seeing here. So this 1 mole, let's assuming that the Maggi that is inside is up to 6.0 times 10 to the power 23 atoms. So it means that the mole like this contains how many Maggi? 6.0 times 10 to the power 23 atoms. So that is what we mean. We mean in chemistry. So now, this mole, we have formula of calculating moles. But sometimes if you don't want to use formula, you can always use this method. That mole here can also be calculated as mole equals to what? Mass in grams all over what? Molar mass. We also have another one. Mole, number of mole is also equals to what? Number of what? Atoms. Number of atoms all over molar mass. Oh, sorry, all over Avogadro's number, that is 6.0 times 10 raised to the power 23. So when I used to use these formulas, when you are given a mass of of an element, a mass in grams of an element, and they ask you to find the number of mole, just determine what the molar mass, calculate the molar mass of that element, then use the mass in grams that was given, that is the reacting mass, divide it with the molar mass. That will give you the mole. But in the case whereby they ask you to find the number of atoms, this is the formula that you are going to use. When the mole is given, they ask you to find the number of atoms. Just multiply mole by the what? 6.02 times 10 to the power of 23. This will give you what? Number of what? Atoms. Very, very simple. So now, let me also expand this mole, because we also have other thing to learn from this mole. Where is my wrap? Let's see from here. Let me just erase this. Let's see this mole that you are seeing here. If you have mole here, because this mole contains so many things, let's see. One mole also contains, one mole will also give you what? Molar mass of an element, molar mass. This same one mole will also give you what? Atomic mass number of an element. Atomic mass number of an element. This one mole. This one mole will also give you what? Avogadro's number. What we are just talking about, atoms, will also give you Avogadro's number, which is 6.02 times 10 raised to the power of 23 atoms. This one mole will also give you that. This one mole will also give you what? Under electricity, 1 mole of a substance, of an element under electrolysis will give you what? 96,500 coulomb. This same 1 mole is under electricity. So this same 1 mole will also give you what? Molar volume. Molar volume. I have to know this. At STP. That is standard temperature pressure. So that is 22.4 dm cube. That is the molar volume. And so on. So it means that 1 mole of the substance will give you what? Atomic mass number of that substance. If it's element, 1 mole of that element will give you atomic mass number of that element. 1 mole of that same element will give you molar mass of that element. Or this one is when we are talking about compound. Sometimes the element that exists as diatomic, like for example, oxygen now. So you have to find the molar mass. So the molar mass of this oxygen will give you 2 times. The mass number of oxygen is what? That is 16. When you multiply, you have 32 grams. So it means that 1 mole of oxygen will produce or will give you what? 32 grams of what? Oxygen. That is what it means. Also means that 1 mole of oxygen will give you what? 22.4 dm cube of what? Oxygen. This only is when we are talking about volume, molar volume. We'll still give you this. So the same thing with this one now. 1 mole of oxygen will also produce or will also give you 96,500 coulomb of an electricity of any substance. And it depending on the element that you are using, that you are working with. So that is why we have this. It's very, very simple. So this mole now contains all these numbers. You have 1 mole of any element of a compound. This one is if it's a compound, or if the element exists as diatomic, as I explained here. When we are talking about a compound, something like sodium chloride, this is a compound. So it means that 1 mole of this compound of sodium chloride will give you what? Molar mass of that sodium chloride. So you find the molar mass of this, you have an answer. So it means that 1 mole of this guy will give you, or 1 mole of sodium chloride will give you what? The molar mass of this. Also, 1 mole of this same sodium chloride will also give you what? 22.4 dm cube. Oh, you're getting me now? So the same thing, 1 mole of this same guy will also give you 6.0 times 10 to the power of 23 atoms. They are very, very, very simple. So let me show you how to solve some certain question. For example, if I ask you, look at the board. If I ask you, remember this one was 6.02 times 10. If I ask you, how many How many moles? How many moles are there in 6 grams of what? Let me say oxygen. What will you do? How many moles are there in 6 grams of oxygen? What will you do? It's very simple. Solution. What is the molar mass of oxygen? This oxygen. Remember that, let me say O equals to 16. That is mass number. Then molar mass of O2 equals to what? This 2 now. 2 times what? Oxygen. Or 16. We have what? 32. So if you want to use the formula method, this is in grams now. So mass in gram that is given is this 6 gram now. Mass in grams. So if you want to use the formula method, it means that your mole from here equals to what? Mass in grams. This is the formula that we are using now. Mass in grams from here. Mass in grams is given to be 6 grams. That will be 6. Then the molar mass is what? Is 32 divided by 32. What will be the answer? Let me use this calculator. So we have 6 divided by 32. We have 0.1875 mole. Very simple. That is all we can see. How many moles are there in 6 grams of what? O2. So the answer is what? 0.1875 mole. Let me also show you another example for you to solve for this one. What if I ask you this one? I erase this below another one. What if I ask you, how many atoms are there? How many atoms are there in 3 moles of carbon? How many atoms are there in 3 moles of carbon? Remember, now we are referring to what? Atoms. How many atoms? Number of atoms. We are going to use this formula. Moles is given, so we are looking for a number of atoms or particles. So what should we do? From here, we can make this guy the subject. So from here, number of atoms. When you make this guy the subject, will be what? Mole equals to mole multiplied by what? 6.02 times 10 raised to power what? 23. So plug in the values. 3 moles of what? Carbon atoms. 3 moles. Put it here. 3 times 6.03 times 10. Or sorry, 2 times 10 raised to power what? 23. So what is your answer? Let's see. 3 times 6.02 times 10 raised to power what? 23. So we have 1.806 times 10 raised to power what? 24 atoms. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. But that is hard to solve them. Oh, you have learned something today. So this is very, very simple. This is all about moles. So if you have any question, drop in the comment section. Don't forget to follow me. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Bye-bye.